Thanks very much. Now, what did you find, Jamie, out of this information?
Well, some of the stats are showing that, as far as not working together, two-thirds of Australians don't believe the state and federal governments work well together, um, down to 29% that think the federal government is the most effective government, and something like 38% of Australians believe the federal system is not working, which is highest actually in ACT, which is interesting. Griffith University found that 45.5% of the Australian population does not trust the state government.
Has there been any sort of indications as to why people are sort of feeling this way?
Well, I mean, what I've found, you've got to first of all look at in Australia, with a population of 23 million people. The UK has a population of 60 million people, yet it only has two levels of government. Australia has a much smaller population, but we have three levels of government. So I think for a long time, Australians have felt overgoverned. We are referred to as a nanny state. So I think that affects it. But if you look at recent politics at the federal level, many people see it as a political circus. So there's a lot of lack of faith in the federal political system. But then when we see the state premiers and the state governments not getting along with the federal governments, and particularly right now because you have Labor at federal and most of the state governments are the coalition. So in particular, that just probably has made it, people see it's simply not working from that level.
Yeah, there's a conflict of interest, you think?
Yeah, there's certainly conflict of interest and there's different agendas, and obviously there's debates about the GST carve-up. If you look at the New Western Australia in particular, they feel hard done by because they produce a lot of the wealth and a lot of the revenue for Australia, but they don't get perhaps a equal pro rata percentage of the GST revenues. But I think the biggest challenge Australians do feel overgoverned. There's certainly conflict of interest and there's different agendas, and obviously there's debates about the GST carve-up. If you look at the New Western Australia in particular, they feel hard done by because they produce a lot of the wealth and a lot of the revenue for Australia, but they don't get perhaps a equal pro rata percentage of the GST revenues. But I think the biggest challenge Australians do feel overgoverned. And the question's got to be, do we need three levels of government? When we have local government and we have a federal government, surely most things in Australia, when we look at the education system, the transport system, infrastructure, health systems, surely they should be one national federal system, not individual state-based systems that are replicating and duplicating and costing more and more money with over levels of government.
Out of these statistics, do you think Australians are saying let's get rid of state governments?
I think it's saying whether specifically state governments. They're not saying exactly, we love the federal government as well, but I think they're certainly saying we have too many levels of government. So if you're going to, on a practical level, if you're going to eliminate one of the levels of government, we've got to have a federal government. So you sort of can't eliminate that. So state government's probably the only government that out of the three that we could do without with, and I think that's what people recognise.
I mean, you just have to look at federal parliament and the way they behave. I mean, that's enough to turn anyone off.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what you see in Australia. People, I wrote a book, 101 Ways to Improve Australia, and apart from one of those ways is obviously elimination of state government, so I'm all for that. But our political system is failing. In this country, we have to have compulsory voting to get people to vote. That's an admission of failure of the system. If a political system was really empowering and transparent, Australians would want to vote. So they're losing faith in both sides of politics. They're over the political bickering. What Australians really want they want to hear policies. And I think we should be able to, these days with technology, vote direct on major policies. Why do we need political parties? We should be able to vote yes or no to a mining tax or yes or no to a carbon tax and let the people have the say, not elect one party and then they change their mind once they get to power on what they're going to do.